Hey guys, Dan here. In this video I want to talk to you about building self-belief. Okay, so anybody involved in sport, whether they're a coach, whether they're an athlete themselves, whether they're a spectator or a commentator, anyone at all, is going to tell you how important self-belief is for an athlete to perform at their absolute best. It always surprises me how many people think that self-belief is this uncontrollable thing that you've either got or you've not. The truth is that self-belief can be trained and developed just like any other skill. And the top performers in any sport will spend loads of time training their self-belief to make sure that it's absolutely rock solid. So the question is, how do you build your self-belief? Well, if I ask you as an athlete what things give you self-belief and give you that positive feeling about yourself, you'll probably say two things. Good performances, praise from your coach, and praise from your teammates. Am I right? When I ask athletes to give me some more examples of things that they get confidence from or self-belief from, they tend to run out of ideas. Now, good performances and praise are great. They're two fantastic ways to build your self-belief. But what if you have a couple of bad performances? Or what if the praise kind of dries up a little bit from your coaches or from your teammates? Does that mean that the whole house of cards falls down and you've no longer got any self-belief? Top performers in any sport will have loads of different sources of self-belief. They'll have loads of different things, loads of different areas from which they can draw self-belief so that it remains nice and strong. So if any one area kind of falls down for that given week, they've got loads of other areas that they can rely on to give them self-belief. Here are a few other areas from where you can draw self-belief, and you might well be using a few of these yourself right now in your sport. So an obvious one is knowing what your strengths are as an athlete, whether that's technical skills, whether that's physical attributes.
Usain Bolt storming through, he takes it again.
This is like your personal trademark as an athlete, what you bring to the table on any given day. You can draw self-belief from your goals. If you've got goals that are a little bit uncontrollable or a little bit unrealistic, you might not be feeling the best about them. But if you've got nice, specific, controllable goals, you're probably going to draw a lot of self-belief from those, knowing that you can go out there and achieve them. You can take self-belief from your training. If you know that you've been putting the effort levels in and the intensity in recent training sessions, if you've been doing extra fitness work or extra technical work, if you've been doing extra mental preparation, knowing that you've been putting the work in training can be a massive source of self-belief come competition day. You can draw loads of self-belief from your preparation and your planning. So making sure that you're physically rested, making sure that you're eating the right things and giving yourself the best fuel to perform well, managing your time well so you're not kind of packing your kit bag in a rush before you leave the day of your competition, making sure that you're hydrated, making sure that you know what your game plan's going to be, so what you're going to do against a certain opponent or what you're going to do if a certain scenario plays out. Ticking all of these boxes can give you a real feeling of self-belief, knowing that you've prepared well, knowing that you've planned well for your event. If you know that you can deal with it when there's a setback or when things go wrong and you can remain focused and you can regain that performance level that you want to achieve, that can be a massive source of self-belief as well. You know that you can make the best of any scenario that ends up playing out. Another important step is to recognize anything that could lower or negatively affect your self-belief and have a plan in place for how you're going to deal with that. So it might be certain individuals, there could be teammates, there could be opponents that you know you're going to run into that maybe drag you down a little bit. Figure out how you're going to deal with those. Maybe you're going to block them out or stay away from them, chuck your headphones in. Maybe it's not feeling prepared in the morning, so not eating right or not having all your kit or packing your kit in a rush before you leave, that kind of stuff. Just make sure you've got a plan in place for how you're going to deal with anything that might lower your self-belief as you're trying to prepare for your event. So there's loads of ways that you can incorporate these sources of self-belief into your training or into your preparation for your competitions. Why not start with some positive reminders? These can just be little notes or pictures that you can have around the house or in your kit bag, just to remind you of those different sources of self-belief. So there you have it. Train your self-belief like you would any other skill. Put in the time and effort to work on it and make it rock solid. Build up some different sources of self-belief so that if one of them isn't there on a given day, you've got other ones that you can rely on. And figure out what you might do if anything negatively influences it negatively influences your self-belief. Okay, figure out a plan of how you're going to deal with that. So look, I hope that was helpful. Let me know in the comments below if you think it was, or if you've got any of your own favorite ways to build your self-belief, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.